In our urban world, in the streets where we walk, in the buses we take, in the magazines we read, on walls, on screens, we are surrounded by images of an alternative way of life. We may remember or forget these images, but briefly we take them in, and for a moment they stimulate our imagination, either by way of memory or anticipation. But where is this other way of life? It's a language of words and images.
Sound keeps
which calls out
in
to
my
us
dream.
wherever we go, whatever we read, wherever we are.
It's a dream. I have trouble separating dream from wake.
Where do they
waking
exist,
memory.
these fabulous rewards and
I also
objects and people?
have a thing where I don't pick up on
Where do they belong
patterns
to?
or
Here, there, or
persistent
nowhere. They come with us everywhere.
stimulus.
We take them away in our minds.
It's a really hard question.
We see them in our dreams.
I haven't been dreaming that much lately. Daytime dreams. Waking dreams. Daytime. Sounds. There's a lot of song will get stuck in my head. Or phrases repeat from night till morning.
Publicity proposes to each of us in a consumer society
And they're all
that
spells.
we change
really.
ourselves or our lives by
Okay.
buying something more. This more, publicity persuades us, will make us in some way richer
Don't do
Even
too
though we
much
will be poorer.
witchcraft
by having spent our money.
in my song.
And publicity persuades us of this transformation by showing us people who have apparently been transformed and are, as a result, envied.
There are
This state of being envied
things you hope people
is what
hear.
constitutes glamour.
Yeah,
And
there was one
publicity
I
is
wrote
the process
recently,
of manufacturing glamour. Glamour is supposed to go deeper than
not a
looks,
teardrop.
but it depends upon
Not a
them
teardrop
utterly.
is not so much a
Glamour
spell, but
works
more
through the
of a
eye and the
self-healing
mirror.
elixir. You speak this elixir, say these phrases, and they're self-healing. That one, not a teardrop.
Glamour is for everybody who
There's a
believes they
whole
can be glamorous,
incantation throughout the
or
whole
perhaps
song.
more accurately, for everybody who finds that they cannot
Like the
afford not
action
to be glamorous.
casting spell is
Yeah. Keep the fringes free, Oliver.
it's got like
The
a
setting in which
three-line
glamour is here
spell
being
phrase.
created is an old one, a large country house, now turned into a public park.
Ain't no deep
These
wide ocean.
parklands and trees were once laid out in the same spirit
ain't
as
no
the
great
landscapes
wide
in oil
ocean,
paintings,
ain't no
in
deep
which
blue
idealized
sea,
nymphs and goddesses
Ain't no
played.
great wide ocean, ain't no deep blue sea. Ain't no more spilled milk for you to puss around with me. That's a spell. That's a self-healing spell.
If I can make it
Person
look like
says
three flowers in the tree.
But then a lot of songs are that.
No, you stay.
You sing them to release an emotion.
Now,
feel better.
the model has taken the place of the goddess.
Get it out. Feel better.
Yet glamour
Get it
is a new idea. For those who once lived in the country houses and owned the classical oil paintings, the idea of glamour did not exist.
Distant
Ideas of grace, elegance, authority
Getting
amounted to
louder.
something apparently similar,
My music
but fundamentally
on
very
a
different.
distant planet, the sound
When everybody's place
getting
in
louder
society is more or less determined by
as
birth,
it approaches,
personal
the planet
envy
approaches.
is a less familiar
So
emotion.
you're coming towards the sound. The sound is coming towards you.
And without
you're coming
social
towards the
envy,
sound.
glamour cannot
You're on a
exist.
collision course. Constantly hitting.
Envy becomes a common emotion in a society which has
Constantly.
moved towards democracy and then stopped halfway, where status is theoretically open to everyone,
It would
but enjoyed by
you
only
know,
a few.
it's a lo-fi origination source. I mean, I'm pretty
Glamour
high
is
tech,
new. Society has changed.
but
The oil painting
the
and the
signal
publicity
is
image have much in common.
total.
And we only fail to see
do it
this
yourself.
because we think
Everything,
of one
we
as
do everything
fine art
ourselves
and the
here.
other as commerce.
Everything.
Sometimes
So-
publicity impersonates a painting
It's gonna be that.
Boys
like,
are
it can
posed
only be
to match
I
the
mean,
boyhood of
it
Raleigh.
can get magnified. It can get all kind of gain adjusted, magnified.
Real people pose like the
Which
figures
it will.
in Manet's
It'll get that.
Déjeuner
It'll-
sur l'herbe.
It's gonna be. It's
A man
gonna sound
dresses
just
up
like it
to look
sounds
like a
here,
portrait by Howells.
Basically, it's gonna sound just like it does here on Earth.
Sometimes works of art are used to give prestige to a publicity scene.
It'll be like a latency over time, but it'll be relative
Doodle
to
by
the person.
Michelangelo.
So it'll just be. It'll sound exactly like it sounds
A
here. on
painting
Earth.
by Rubens. A painting by Dürer.
Oh, all the time. Everything I recorded.
A whole
is
sea by
inexplicable.
Hokusai.
I mean, looking back over time, it all
Usually
sort
the
of
references to
becomes
art
explicable.
are less direct.
At the time,
It is a question of publicity
you wouldn't want
echoing
to try.
devices
The
once
whole
used
point
in
is to
oil
lower
painting.
your standards, let your guard
Devices
down,
of atmosphere.
and express, and burst forth, ooze, barf. You can explain barf. You can kind of point to it and like shrug. Yeah. But you can't explain it. I mean, you can say,
Setting.
"Oh, it was something I ate," or I must have a stomach bug," but that's not really an explanation. I put out a song and say, "Yeah, that's a song.
Pleasures.
Or that's a song about
Objects.
tax man or my girlfriend or my truck."
Poses.
Does that really explain
Symbols of
the
prestige.
song? You can't explain the song. I mean, you could listen to a song. You can experience listening to a song. But why explain it? Why would you even want to try? That is a very good question.
Gestures.
What do you think your subconscious is trying to write? Hopefully a hit record. Hopefully a hit record, baby. Get to work in there. Get to work in there. No, but seriously, it's leading me to a better version of myself, the fulfilled version of myself, the fulfillment of the self that is this person, this Joe Eddie, this guy, this me. It's trying to bring this human vessel to its spiritual
Signs of love.
potential. I think that is what my subconscious is hopefully trying to write. I guess if I were in charge, I would tell it to work on that and a hit record.
Oil painting,
Make it a hit record
as
while
I
you're
tried to
at
show
it.
last week, was a medium especially developed in order to render on canvas the physical texture and tangibility of things. Today, color
If a
photography
ghost could
performs
remix
a
my
similar
song,
role.
which one would it choose? Oh,
Color photography,
there's
Oil
a
painting.
ghost song that I did a few years ago that I didn't do properly, and so I think the ghost would first want to go directly to that and just remix that, probably. You know, just to clean up an old mess and get us up to square one, shore zero. The ghost is going to want to come in.
Publicity
and fix that.
and oil
Let's see,
painting
it's
use many of the
talks
same
about a ghost in
references
the song.
and celebrate the same
Ghost of-
qualities in things.
The title is
Share
Ghost
many of the same ideals, all of them
Ghost
related
of-
to the principle that you are what you
Ghost
have.
of
Their
somewhere.
purpose and their effects,
Ghost
however,
of lost
are very
places.
different. The oil painting showed what the owner was already
Yeah,
enjoying among his
well,
possessions
it's gonna
and
wanna
his way of
fix
life.
that.
It consolidated his own sense of his own
and I
value.
think he's gonna
It
wanna come
enhanced
in
his view of himself as he already
and,
was.
Well, actually,
It began with
Greybeat
facts,
is going to be remixing
facts of his
first
life.
name rock, last name roll pretty soon.
Of course, there were
As soon
other
as
facts
we get the
which it didn't
sort
take
of
into account.
final mix
Where did
for
the owner's
radio
wealth
release,
come from?
We'll get those tracks
The
over at
exploitation
Greybeat.
on which his wealth was based
He
was not
is
shown.
gonna remix it better than any
But what was
ghost ever
shown
could.
did at least correspond
Yeah.
to the condition of
I'm
his
pretty
own
sure
life.
that's going to be fantastic. I'm excited. Greybeat out of St. Paul. Yeah.
Publicity is
He'll
different.
turn it inside out.
It appeals to a
Really
way
will.
of life we
He'll
aspire to
stretch
or
it
think we
and
aspire
break it
to,
and cut
but
it
have
in
not yet
half.
achieved.
He'll cut it into a million pieces.
A
And
publicity picture
flip it
suggests
inside
that
out,
if we buy
turn
what
it
it is
upside
offering,
down,
our life will be different
invert it,
from what it is.
distort it.
Scene
insert
after
it.
scene shows you
Eventually,
this different
It's going
life.
to be beautiful. Yeah, I'm looking forward to
Not only
Greybeat,
will our home be
for
different,
sure.
but all our
Greybeat's
relationships
looking
will
forward to
become
me.
radiant because of our new possessions.
Pretty sure. Oh, yeah.
But we can only achieve such radiance if we
There's a
have
thing
money.
that happens when you strum
And
a
so
chord.
publicity also works on our anxieties about money.
Emanates from your position throughout the room, and it swallows you.
Urging
right
each
with
of
it.
us
I mean,
to
you're
scramble
kind of the first to
competitively
go.
to get more,
Sometimes you're the last to go, which is really strange. But
making money appear
you're the
as if
first
it
to
were
go.
itself
because
magical.
you're the source. I mean, you're at the source of the explosion. Boom, you're gone.
This may persuade a few people
Uh,
to use a bank credit system despite the very
and
high
then
rate of
you-
interest. But what is more
Well-
important is that it promotes the illusion that a man's ability to consume is directly related
And you
to his
get a
sexual
rhythm
virility.
going. And
According to
room
the rules of
starts
the
to
dream,
reverberate
Those who do
and
not have this
shift,
power, those who
change,
lack glamour,
it lifts.
become
There's a
faceless.
lift that happens.
almost
Not sure
non-existent.
exactly what you call it.
Publicity
but I know
both
there's
promises
a
and
lift
threatens.
involved.
It plays upon fear,
And
often the fear of not
lift
being
is
desirable,
rhythmic.
of
It's-
being
it's like-
unenviable.
have you ever flown in a dream? Do you fly in your
It
dreams?
suggests
You
that
know
you are
when you're flying in
inadequate
your
as you
dreams,
are,
and
but it
you have
consoles
to,
you
like,
with the promise of a dream.
kind of request it to lift, to get more lift. You sort of have to like request it from your
Behind
mind
the dream are the working
to your
lives
existence,
of the very people it
and
addresses.
to get that lift. That's what it feels like strumming.
With this
a
spray,
guitar.
you
So
will
if
be
you're a guitar
wanted.
player, you know what I'm saying. You get that
Meanwhile,
lift. There's like
There is the present
if
of the
you're on
women
a
who
stage
manufacture
or
such
you're
sprays.
just on your bedroom floor, you start to strum. There's this rhythm that happens. You start to get lift, speed, momentum, lift. Go. And throughout the song, hopefully you stay aloft, like hopefully with that lift, you take flight, you go on a little flight, you look around, you see the ground, you see the world from a different perspective. You're up in the trees, you're flying through the valleys, you're dipping along rocks, you're feeling cool. Maybe you're feeling bummed out about something. Yeah, you're feeling good, right? And, you're fine. And you take everybody with you. Take everybody in
The
the
future
room or
deferred.
that can hear you in the field with you on that flight. That song, the flight of the song. And when you finally get down to where you're gonna
Meanwhile,
land,
the interminable
come down,
present.
those final chords, those final notes. Try to let them down. Try to land us smooth. Like, what? We don't want to just crash and stop. Like, I pride myself on being a smooth driver. Smooth, easy, chill, steady stops. We're not going to come to a jerk and stop and hurt our necks. I don't even want to do it right now. Hurt my neck. So, it's smooth. That last chord, it feels smooth. If it's a smooth landing, it feels so good. Everybody's happy. You're like, wow.
The
What
more
did we
monotonous
just
the present,
experience?
the more
That
the
was
imagination
fantastic.
must seize upon
And
the
then there's
future.
silence, where there's applause.
The passivity of the present is then replaced by the activity of an
The flight
imaginary
is over.
future,
You definitely feel it when the
pictures
song ends,
conjured up
that's for
by
sure.
publicity.
Yeah, probably just my 9
The
lives.
imagery may be public,
900 lives.
but the dreams are intimate.
99 lives.
Here are 3 such dreams.
I'm not sure how many there are, but
The dream of later
at
tonight.
least 9.
You are part of the good life they smile at.
I think we're past
They
9
are
by
part
now.
of the good life you smile at. Everyone is surrounded by what brings pleasure. But it is
That's
you
part of what it is.
who will
It's
bring
just
the
you gotta
greatest
just sit
pleasure
and
of
listen.
all.
99 lives. Take one down, pass it around. It's just, you gotta just sit and listen to it. I'll tell them to you. I hope I'll tell them. That's what I'm asking for every day. Help me tell the story. Help me tell the ones that I remember. Help me remember the ones to tell.
And next morning, you'll still feel the same about it. The skin dream. The surface you can touch. The skin without a biography.
The one that won't run around. Take everything I have. Left me here with nothing, babe. So much to give you.
The dream of a faraway place. To lie down on a bed alone.
Good luck,
To
man.
allow one's thoughts to pass through the light of the window.
I don't run around.
To travel elsewhere.
I used to run around.
Conjuring images. Distances without horizons.
Ain't got no reason to run around now.
between two worlds at the same time, just where Europe ends. The other world, violent, infidel, full of unknown passions.
Yeah, good stuff there.
Wearing your own clothes next to your own skin, you join the nomads. Or to go north to ancient castles. An age of chivalry, of romantic love. It is dawn.
It was interesting. I
You are
was
innocent.
unloading
You are
the
pure.
car. I had
You
my
are ready to
guitar
travel
there
again.
leaned up, and my hat and sparkly shoes. And
Publicity works
she comes
on
walking
the
up and says,
imagination, but
"What
it
are
does
you
something else
doing?"
too. Because publicity
What are you
pretends
do-
to
it was
interpret
more
the
like,
world around us
"What
and
are
to
you
explain
doing?
everything in its own terms.
What are you doing?
Publicity adds up to a kind of
It
philosophical
was
system.
fun. It was fun. We had never
The
spoken
things
before.
which publicity sells
And
are in themselves
I didn't say what I
neutral,
wanted to say,
just objects.
which was
And so they have to be made glamorous by being inserted into contexts which are exotic
I
enough
like you. You're
to be
cool.
arresting, but not
Can't
close
just
enough
say
to
it
us
somebody.
to offer a threat.
First time you meet them.
A machine gun can support shoes. Revolution
You know,
can be wrapped around anything. In this way, publicity abuses
first name Rock, last
the
name Roll.
realities of public figures and events
It
and
speaks for
struggles
itself, you
in
know.
other parts of the world.
It's the song. It's like
Sometimes this
says it
reality
straight
and
out,
this unreality
straight
confront
to
each
the gut,
other.
like Larry
And then we
Wywood
are
used to
faced
say,
by a
straight to
contrast
the,
which is
straight to the gut.
incomprehensible.
And
Look, I open a copy of the Sunday Times.
how much more
color
direct
magazine.
can you be than telling someone
Aramis
your first
is an
name and your
attitude.
last name?
It is not merely
This is my
proposing
first
a
name,
new
this is
shaving
my last
soap.
name, this is me, this is
It is
my name.
proposing, as it says, an attitude,
And
a
there's
life,
a lot in
a
a name.
civilization.
You can change your name and
The highest
change
value
a lot
of
about
this
you. You
civilization
become a totally different
is the
person just by
individual
changing
ego.
your name. Even just a little bit, you could change one letter of your name.
Pimm's tastes every bit as
Go
good as
by
it looks
nickname.
and is easy to drink, which is sometimes hard for us
Anthony
to
to
live
Tony.
with, because we wouldn't
There's a
want
big
people to
difference
think the
between
chords
Anthony
it
and Tony.
strikes are all meek and
Kellen
mild
and
mannered.
Kelly.
So, when you're through with your first half pint of Pimm's, stand back and see how you look, and face the hard truth. That song may have ended, but the melody is lingering on.
It's,
I turn the page.
the last
These are
one that I
photographs
ever
of
could
refugees
play.
from East Pakistan
The
fled
last
to
one
West
I ever
Bengal.
could play. It's gonna be a toss-up between "Oh, when the saints go marching in, oh, when the saints go marching in."
Text, which accompanies the
Oh, how
photographs,
I want
says that these
to
refugees
be
deserve
in
more
that
help
number.
than any others in the
Oh,
world.
when the
The writer
saints
appeals to
go
a public conscience.
marching in.
But if I turn the page again,
Or it's gonna
the
be,
inadequacy of such appeals becomes obvious.
probably not Spanish bombs.
The words and pictures on these
Probably not
pages
Spanish bombs.
all appear to be real and all belong to the
That'll
same
be
language.
Amazing
The
Grace.
text, the photographs taken in Pakistan, the
Amazing
photographs taken
Grace,
for the publicity, the editing of the paper, the layout, the printing.
And I might have to write
All are
that
elements
one.
of the
I might
same
have
culture.
to write the one that I'm
Our
gonna say
culture.
very
Yet,
end.
between each page,
It's a great question.
there is such a fissure, such a disconnection,
It's a great
such
question.
incoherence, that one can only say this culture is mad. On pages like these, reality itself becomes unrecognizable.
Yeah, that is a good question.
It is
I'll have to
difficult in
think
this
about
clamor
that.
to explain why one set of victims deserves more attention and more help
looking
than
back,
many others. There have been so many refugees
looking
in
forward,
recent years.
An apology.
Aperitifs can be a bit sweet for today's taste, so a lot of people go to the other extreme and serve dry
gratitude.
drinks that taste of nothing. What do
thank
words
you.
mean when
A
juxtaposed
real
like
big
this?
thank you. I think it'll be a real big thank you in the end.
What happens in East Pakistan, or for that matter Birmingham, any historic
What
event
else can you
anywhere
say after
is
all of
always
it?
on the far side
all
of the
that.
frontier of the publicity dream.
The miracle,
What happens out there happens to
the
strangers
suffering,
whose fate is meant to be different from
the
ours.
satisfaction, joy,
What happens in the dream
the
is meant
surprise,
to happen to us.
the heartache,
Things
the
happen
longing, the
after
waiting,
Abadidar's path.
the time flying by. The miracle of every moment. Gratitude and a bit of remorse that I could have done more. I'll always wish that I could have done more. I always could have done more. Took me a long time to realize I'm a
There
kind
is
of a
no
slow
communication
learner,
between the two worlds.
but,
Their contrast is beyond understanding
yeah,
unless one takes a world political view.
gratitude, a real big thank you, a real big thanks. That's what I hope for. I'm gonna have to write that one.
Yet, what is really the connection
Thank you for
between these
everything.
publicity images and
Thanks
our
for
own
everything.
lives? Between
Thanks
their
for tuning in,
promises
everybody. I
and
hope
our
you
own
really
needs.
enjoyed tonight's program.
Why
Signing
eventually
off.
are these
I'm Joe
publicity
Eddie.
images so
Rock
deep?
and roll.
What surrounds these posters? Oil paintings were surrounded by gold frames which symbolized the wealth of the owner within the picture and around it. What surrounds the publicity image is us as we are. The magical purchase, the buy which is meant to transform us, but which excludes us as we now are, fills the gap between life as it is and life as we are told it might be. This false filling of the gap prevents us realizing how we might really begin to close that gap. Such a beginning would start with the struggle to take over the control of our own lives. Political decisions instead of purchases. This series began by considering the tradition of the European oil painting. It has ended by us looking at publicity images today. Because I believe that in many respects, these images continue that tradition. I've been critical of many things in that tradition, of our culture, of some of the values which it celebrates. And I've illustrated my arguments by using the modern means of reproduction. But finally, what I've shown and what I have said, like everything else that is shown or said through these means of reproduction, must be judged against your own experience.